have visited Amazon, Flipkart and Alibaba's e-commerce website. So when I visit their website, I have found like when you hover your mouse over the product image, in the right hand side you'll get the magnified image. But the magnified image where like suddenly it appears and suddenly it disappears. So there was no any like the transition. If you talk about like user experience, like it's not that great. In this video, with the help of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, we are going to create image magnifier but better than them. Hello and namaste everyone. This is Jitsaru with Coding Design. Welcome to our channel. If you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. In HTML file, you can see some few lines of basic HTML code, as well as I have style.css file. Inside that file, I have given some variables along with some color value. And also in the same folder, I have image named phone.jpg. Now let's go inside the index.html file. Let's give the title. For the title, I'm giving image magnifier. And also let's give image zoom effect. Now let's go inside the body tag. Inside the body tag, I'm creating div with class name card, and inside that div I'm creating two sections. For the first section, I'm giving the class name as product image, and for the second section I'm giving the class name as product details. Inside the first section, I'm giving the image. For the source, I'm giving phone.jpg. In this video, I'm not going to explain much more about the HTML and CSS code, but in the JavaScript code, I'm going to explain you everything. So I'm speeding up my video. In the same video, I'll see you in the JavaScript code. Okay, now you can see for the HTML and CSS codes part, okay, it's almost done. But now I have to create only two elements, okay, in the index.html file. For the first element, product image section, next to image tag, I'm creating div with class name magnifier lens, and in the style.css file, now let's style that image magnifier lens. So for the image magnifier lens class, I'm giving position absolute. So you know that class product image, that is the parent. So for the class product image, I'm giving position relative. And now inside the class magnifier lens, I'm giving width of 150 pixel and height of 100 pixel. Similarly, let's give the background color. For the background color, I'm giving that orange color. Let's paste that color. And for the last two digit, that is alpha value, for that I'm giving 30, so that controls the transparency of that color in the browser. Now you can see at the bottom left, and also let's give for the top and left 0. Okay, now you can see at the top left, okay, that yellow box. Similarly, let's give the border. For the border width, I'm giving 0.1 pixel, and for the border style, I'm giving solid, and also for the border color, I'm giving that orange color. Okay, now it's looking good. Now you need to create another element where we will show the magnified image. So for that, in the index.html file, inside the section class name product details, at the bottom, I'm creating div with class name magnified image, and now let's style that class magnified image. You know that class product details, that is the parent of that div with class name magnified image. So for the class named product details, I'm giving position relative. Now for the class magnified image, I'm giving position of absolute. Similarly, width of 100%, height of 100%. And also let's copy that background color and let's paste it there. Okay, in the browser now you can see when you move that lens, how can you display that magnified image in that yellow big box. Okay, so in order to display the magnified image, we need JavaScript code. So for that, I'm creating a script.js file. So let's link our JavaScript file. So at the bottom, I'm giving script tag, and for the source, I'm giving script.js. So now let's select this magnified image class and magnifier lens and also that image. So in the script.js file, I'm writing cons lens is equal to document.query selector dot, I'm pasting that, and let's duplicate this code. Let's change that variable name product image. Let's select that product image. So for that, I'm giving dot product image img, and also let's duplicate this code. Now let's select that magnified image class. So this magnified image class represents this big yellow box, and this product image class represents that smartphone, and class magnifier lens represents that small yellow box which is above smartphone. Let's change that variable name to magnified image. Now I want to create function, so I'm writing function magnify. For the magnify function, I want to give two parameters, product image and magnified image. So let's copy that product image. I'm writing product image dot add event listener. So for the event, I'm giving mouse move event, and let's give move lens function. So now let's create that move lens function. So when you move your mouse around the product image, move lens function is triggered. So now inside the move lens function, I'm going to declare some variables. So I'm writing let x, y, cx, cy. For the X variable, I want to assign, okay, before that, I want to show you something in the console. For the move lens function, I'm passing argument E. So let's write console.log. For the X, I'm giving e.pageX, okay, X, that is capital X, and for the Y, I'm writing e.pagey, and Y should be capital. So in the browser, if I press F12 key, this window will pop up, and in the console tab, okay, we have error. So let's go back to the JavaScript file. Okay, let's delete this code, and also you need to call that magnify function. So let's copy this code and let's paste it. Okay, now once again, let's press F12 key in the console tab. When I move my mouse, you can see X and Y value. Okay, so that X and Y value, that is the, like the position of your cursor, or that is the coordinates of your cursor. So for the note, I'm writing this code will get the position of your cursor. Okay, and I'm writing X is equal to e.pageX. Let's duplicate this code, and for the Y, I'm giving Y is equal to e.pagey. When you move that cursor, you need to change lens position. So in the style.css file, you can see for the magnifier lens class, we have given there top and left 0. We want to change the lens class position. Okay, you can write something like this: lens dot style dot top is equal to, and also lens dot style dot left is equal to. But I'm not going to do that. I'm writing lens dot style dot css text is equal to tilde symbol, or you can say backtick. In the keyboard, just above the tab button, you can see this symbol. So inside that, I'm writing top colon dollar parenthesis, and inside that you can give the variable, and for the value, I'm giving variable y and pixel. So remember, please don't forget to give that pixel, okay, otherwise it won't work. And for the left, I'm giving y pixel. For the left value, that should be x. So now let's remove that top and left value in the browser. Okay, now you can see when you move your cursor, along with your cursor, that lens is moving. You can see the lens is in the wrong position. In order to bring that lens at the center of your cursor, first of all, let's subtract the x coordinate of that product image. In order to get the x coordinate of that product image, first of all, let's declare product image rect variable, and for that variable, I'm assigning product image dot get bounding client rect. With the help of this method, you can get, like products image height, width, like the coordinates. That means the position of x position, y position. So now let's copy this product image rect variable. Let's paste it there, and I'm writing dot left. So with the help of this, you could find the exact x coordinate of that product image. Now let's apply same thing for the y coordinate. You can write product image rect dot top. Okay, in the browser now you can see when you move your cursor, that lens is following your cursor, but still the lens is not at the center of your cursor. So for that, again, you need to subtract the lens height and width. So for that, for the x, I'm subtracting lens dot offset width, and for the y, I'm subtracting the lens height. So for that, I'm writing lens dot offset height. In the browser, you can see your cursor is in bottom right corner of that lens. To bring it at the center, so if I divide the height and width of that lens by 2, then it will bring your cursor at the center of the lens. Now you can see when you're moving your cursor, the lens is moving, but it is not moving that smoothly. It's because the mouse move event is only, like triggering when we are, like moving our mouse in that product image. But you can see the cursor is above the lens. So you need to give once again same mouse move event for the lens. So for that, let's duplicate this code. We'll give the same mouse move event for the lens. So in the browser now you can see when you're moving your cursor, lens is following your cursor. But that lens should, follow the cursor only when you're moving your cursor inside that product image. So in order to prevent that lens from positioning outside of that product image, in order to prevent that, you need to give some conditions. So for that, I'm creating another variable. let max expose is equal to, let's copy this product image, rect dot width minus length dot offset width, and let's duplicate that code and let's rename it max y position. For the max y position, let's give the product image rect dot height minus length dot offset height. In max x and y position variable, we are storing the maximum number or the maximum value that the lens can move in the x-axis and the y-axis, but still we are not giving any condition. So for the condition, I'm giving if x coordinate of the cursor's value is greater than max x position, then we are assigning x coordinate to max x position. Let's duplicate this code, and for the next condition, I'm giving if x coordinate of that cursor's value is less than 0, then I'm assigning that x coordinate value to 0. Similarly, let's duplicate this code. So for the y-axis, so let's change that all the x variable to y, and also let's give that max x position to max y position. But for the lengths top and left, we have given their y and x variable, but when the conditions are the conditions are true, we are immediately changing the x and y value. So let's bring that code at the bottom. So in the browser now you can see when you're out of that product image, that lens is not moving along with your cursor, but when you are moving your cursor inside that product image, now you can see that lens is moving along with your cursor. So this is what you want. Now let's take this process further. So in order to maintain the aspect ratio between the magnified image and the lens, I'm writing cx is equal to magnified image dot offset width divided by lens dot offset width. Let's duplicate same code, and for the cy, I'm giving magnified image dot offset height divided by lens dot offset height. So when you are moving your cursor, along with your cursor, lens is moving, but still you can't see that magnified image. So in order to display the magnified image, I'm writing magnified image dot style dot css text is equal to that backtick or tilde symbol background. For the background, I'm giving URL. So in the URL, I want to give that product's image source. So for that, I'm writing dollar parenthesis variable product image dot src. So with the help of this, you can display the magnified image. Okay, in the browser now you can see when I move my cursor. Okay, now you can see magnified image is displayed. So when you're moving your lens, with respect to your lens, the position of the magnified image is not changing. So in order to change that, let's add one more property. So you could write your position for the background position. Okay, for the x-axis, you could give that x. And to maintain that aspect ratio, I'm writing asterisk cx, and don't forget to give the value. Okay, I'm in the unit, I'm writing pixel for the x-axis. Okay, and for the y-axis, I'm giving y asterisk cy pixel. In the browser now you can see magnified image position is changing with respect to lens, but you can see image is repeating. So in order to prevent that, let's give background repeat to no repeat. Let's save in the browser. Okay, now you can see when I take my lens to the right, the position of that magnified image is taken to the right side, and when I take it to the left, it is taken to the left side. But we want the opposite, like the reverse way. So in order to do that, instead of positive value for the x-axis and y-axis, we'll give the negative value. So let's write minus for the x-axis and for the y-axis. Now in the browser, okay, now it's working. But to maintain the background size of that magnified image, now I need to write one more code. Okay, if you don't have any idea about the CSS background shorthand property, then this is the background shorthand property. Okay, so for the first value you could give color, for second it takes image, for the third you can give background position, and if you give this slash, after that it would take background size. So I'm writing slash and the background size, and for the background size I want to give product image rect dot width, and to maintain that aspect ratio into cx for the horizontal. For the vertical, I'm giving background image rect dot height asterisk cy. So if I go back to the browser, okay, now it's not working. Okay, because I didn't give any unit. So let's give pixel. Okay, now you can see everything is good, everything is fine, but still, so whenever you are taking your cursor outside of that product image, then the lens and the magnified image, that shouldn't be visible. They both should be hidden. Okay, so in order to do that, for the lens, I'm giving another event listener, mouse out event. So when your cursor is outside of your lens, then I want to run function called leave lens. So let's create that function. Now let's go inside the CSS file. Let's duplicate this code. So for the magnified lens class, when you are giving the active class, so we will add and remove that active class, with the help of JavaScript code. For the class magnified lens, when you are giving the active class, we want to give opacity to 1, and when you are removing the active class, I want to give its opacity to 0. In the browser, now you can see when you are moving your cursor or when you are moving your mouse, you won't be able to see that lens. Okay, it's because we have given their opacity 0. So let's give active class for the class magnified lens with the help of JavaScript code. So when you are moving your lens, we want to give lens.classlist.add active. So this code will help you to add the active class for the class magnified lens. You can see when you are giving the active class, we have given their opacity to 1. So you will be able to see that lens when you are moving your mouse or the cursor inside that product image. But when you are moving your cursor out of that product image, still you can see that lens. Okay, so in order to remove that lens, you can see for the lens, we have already given mouse out event. So when lens is listening to the mouse out event, leave lens function is triggered. So let's duplicate this code and take it to the leave lens function, and instead of add, we'll write remove. So now you can see when I'm taking my cursor to the product image, you can see the lens, and when I'm taking outside of the product image, that lens, yellow lens, is hidden. Okay, so now it's time to apply the same thing for the magnified image. So for the magnified image, okay, yeah, this magnified image, let's duplicate this code. So let's add the same thing. First of all, let's remove this code. So when you are not giving the active class for the magnified image, at that time we want to give opacity to 0. And when you are giving the active class for the magnified image, at that time we want to give opacity to 1. Similarly, when you are removing the active class, at that time we want to give transform scale, I want to give 0.5. And in the JavaScript file, let's duplicate that code. Let's copy that magnified image variable. Instead of that lens, let's paste it magnified image. Let's save in the browser. Okay, now you can see magnified image is displayed. So in the CSS file, now you can see for the class magnified image, when you are giving the active class, opacity is 1. Similarly, let's give transform. Now let's duplicate that code. I want to transform scale to that original size, that is 1. Now let's save it. And also when you are taking your cursor outside of that product image, then we want to remove that active class from the magnified image. Let's duplicate this code. So instead of add, I am giving remove. So in the browser, let's go. Okay, now you can see when you are taking your cursor to the product image, the magnified image as well as the lens is displayed, and when you are taking your cursor outside of that product image, your lens and the magnified image is hidden. But there is no any transition, like immediately it appears and immediately it goes. So let's give some kind of fade and the like zoom in effect. So for that, let's give for the class magnified image transition. For the transition property, opacity. For the transition duration, 0.5 second. And for the transform transition duration, I'm giving 0.5 second. Let's go to the browser. Now you can see there is some smooth transition. For the class magnified image, instead of that background color, let's give border. For the border width, I am giving 2 pixels. For border style, I am giving solid. And also for the border color, I am giving orange color. Now for the last time, let's go back to the browser. In the browser, when you take your mouse to the product image, now you can see that magnified image with border. And when you take your cursor outside of that product image, lens as well as the magnified image is hidden. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did learn something, smash that like button. If you have any kind of queries, let me know in the comment box. Share this video if you think someone needs it, and also be sure to hit that subscribe button. Remember, there is always more to learn, so keep learning.